So they say that chicken soup is good for your soul, but I also think it's good for your health and your belly. So let's make a big pot of it. My name is Mari. Let's get started. Here's a quick rundown of everything we are going to need to make this chicken noodle soup. I have 2 chicken breasts that I've cut into chunks and just seasoned with some salt and pepper. Then I'm going to use some egg noodles, chicken broth, just a little bit of the Better Than Bouillon chicken flavoring or seasoning, some ground turmeric, thyme leaves. Then I've given a rough chop to some onions, celery, carrots. This is almost a cup of each one. You can use as much or as little of these as you like. Then I have about a clove of garlic. And I'm going to squeeze a little bit of fresh lemon juice into the soup in the end to just kind of brighten up the flavor. I've got my big soup pot on the stove, and I added just a little bit of olive oil. I'm going to put the chicken in when it gets hot and kind of give it a little bit of a sear. Then I'm going to take the chicken breast out and lightly saute the vegetables and then put everything back in to make the soup. All right, the oil is hot, and now I'm going to add the chicken to the pot. Again, this is just going to be a light sear. I don't cook the whole chicken because my family and I don't really like dark meat, so I feel like it would kind of be a waste. I don't really have anything else to use it for, so I just do chicken breast. But you can skip this step, actually, if you want to use a rotisserie chicken even. All right, now I'm going to add just a little bit of seasoning salt to the chicken while it's cooking. Just give layers of flavor. And after this sears, I'm going to take it out and then add the vegetables. Okay, so the chicken's been cooking in the pot for just a few minutes. I'm kind of turning each piece over. I'm not trying to cook it all the way here because I'm going to let it finish cooking in the chicken broth with the vegetables once I get everything in the pot. So I'm getting ready to take it out in just a second. Okay, vegetables are going in. I'm going to start with the onion, carrots, celery. All right, I am going to be adding garlic, but I'm just going to let this saute a little bit first before I put that in. I don't want it to burn. I'm only cooking these enough to just let them soften a little bit, and then they'll continue to cook once I get the broth in with the soup. Okay, the vegetables have cooked down a little bit here. Now I'm going to be adding the garlic, about a clove. Just try to get all that in there. Okay. Now I have some thyme. This is just dried thyme. You can use fresh thyme if you'd like. I'm going to use about maybe half a teaspoon to start. The next thing I have is turmeric, ground turmeric. I'm going to do maybe about half a teaspoon of that as well. Just going to shake it in there. It gives it a nice color. Turmeric has some really good health benefits. Okay. Just cooking this down a little bit more. Then I'm going to add the chicken and the broth. Oh, and let me put in a little bit of this Better Than Bouillon seasoning. You don't need much of this, just a little bit. It just kind of adds to the broth. It gives it a little bit more of a richness. I like this one. It's the organic roasted chicken base. So I'm gonna do just a little bit more. Just like I said, it's just gonna enhance the flavor of the broth. Especially since I'm not cooking a whole chicken, this will just give it a little bit more flavor. All right, and you see all these wonderful, this kind of, well, it's called a bond, I think, or something. But anyhow, it's like all of the spices and everything down here. Once the broth is added in, all of that's going to get incorporated with it, and it's just going to be so delicious. Now I'm going to add the chicken, which I have cut into bite-sized pieces. Because when you have your soup on the spoon, you know, you kind of want everything to fit in the spoon. At least I do. Okay. Get all of this good and combined. Gonna let this cook for just another minute or so, and then I'm gonna add the broth. Okay, time to go in with the chicken broth. I'm gonna start with one box. This is 32 ounces, and then see if I need to, I might do a box and a half. This might be enough. It always does this glug glug thing. Sometimes it just makes such a mess. I don't know how to make it not do that, but anyway. Okay, so let's see. I think I want to do another half, or almost another half to this, because I want it to have a bit more broth, especially when adding the noodles. Okay, let me get the other one. I have another box of broth. Okay. This one is a bone broth, so it's a little bit darker than the regular chicken broth. Okay, there we go. I think that might be about enough. Well, maybe a little bit more. I like that this is nice and chunky, and again, with the noodles, it's gonna have even more going on. But this, you know, with this amount of chicken, it has a lot of protein, and you've got your vegetables, and then the broths. So yeah, let me add just a little bit more. Get that glug glug going on. All right. Okay. We're gonna start with this. I'm gonna let this simmer for, I don't know, maybe 20, 30 minutes. And then come back and check on it and see if it needs to cook a little bit longer. You really just kind of want the vegetables a little bit soft and all of the flavors to have time to get good and combined. So I'll come back and check it and see where we are. All right, I am gonna add a little bit more salt and pepper. I just tasted the broth a little bit, and it definitely needs a little bit more salt. Gonna do about half a teaspoon. I used very low sodium broth, so, and I didn't put a ton of salt on the chicken when I seasoned it, so it does need a little bit more. Gonna add some cracked black pepper. Maybe start with half a teaspoon. All right, give everything a good mix again. And I'm gonna let it simmer a little bit longer. Okay, now it is time to add the noodles. I got this pack, like I said, of the egg noodles. Add, let's see, not quite a half the pack. Let me see how this looks. I don't want to add too many noodles. Oh yeah, I think that's enough. You can obviously add more if you like a lot of noodles in the soup. I don't like a lot of noodles, just enough. And I think that's gonna be enough. I'm gonna let those cook down. And then, okay, for the last step, I'm just gonna take a wedge of lemon that I cut, and I'm just gonna squeeze this into the soup. About that much, not too much. Just gonna give it a little bit of a, I don't know, just a freshness to it. Then I'm just gonna add a little bit of chopped parsley. You can skip this step if you want, but it gives it a nice color. a little bit of flavor. All right, soup is done. Put it in a bowl, a couple of crackers, and now I'm gonna give it a good taste. Okay, soup is ready. Time to give it a taste. Smells good. Smells like, I don't know, smells like a warm hug. That was probably stupid, but I don't know how else to describe it. It just smells good. That's yummy. That's yummy. It's just a nice homemade chicken noodle soup taste. Just good. It's almost fall, and the weather's starting to get a little cooler. I live in the South, so it takes a little longer here to really cool down. But I think we're getting ready to get into the 70s finally, which is going to be a nice change of pace. We've had some really bad weather. There was the hurricane that came through, and I'm in the state of Tennessee, so I know it went through Florida, South Carolina, and when it came to us, there was a lot of wind, a lot of rain, heavy winds, and so we luckily did not get hit as badly as like Asheville, North Carolina, even in South Carolina where a lot of my family is. They had it worse than we did. So I think they're still cleaning up and trying to recover from all of that. So just kind of keep those folks in your mind right now. But in the meantime, make yourself a nice cozy bowl of chicken noodle soup. It's perfect for fall. Honestly, I like soup all year, but fall, a lot of people don't like to eat hot things in the warmer months. So when it becomes fall, that's when they like to bring out the soup. So this is a good recipe. I'm going to put it in the comments or in the description box below. Sorry, I'm still learning YouTube. It's taken some time to get it down. But I'm going to put the recipe in the description box. I want to say that you can completely bypass the step of cooking the chicken yourself, unless you want to do like a whole chicken. But I think a rotisserie chicken would be really good. I've actually never done that, but maybe next time I make it, I will put a rotisserie chicken in here just to see the difference. All right, you got to make this. Thank you so much for watching my video. If you liked it, I'd love for you to give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Until next time, eat more soup.